What's up, everybody? It's Nick Chavez, man, aka Mr. Be Prepared, Not Scared. So I know by now everybody heard about Kobe and his daughter and the other 7 passengers that was on the helicopter. So my condolences to the families that lost their loved ones in that helicopter crash, man. It was a shock, man, and just let you know how precious life is, and just make sure you live your best life while you're here, man, and live a life that's for you. Live a life that's yours, right? So the name of the topic today is living your best lie, and the name of the topic came from it's a continuation from the video from last week, the 3 core values to breaking toxic behaviors, right? And the reason I continued it was because after the video last week, I got a phone call from somebody, and it was an older lady, late 60s. So she say, Nick, can I talk to you? I said, yeah, sure. What's going on? Everything cool? So she like, look, I've been married for 40-something years. I've been married for 40-something years, and I got 3 kids, and 2 of the kids are by my husband, and I already had one, before we got married. She like, but out those 40 years, I've only been happy for the first 2 years. I wasn't happy. She like, and now I'm getting to the point because I think I got a lot more life left in me to live. So now she's contemplating a divorce. So she said, do you think I should get a divorce? So what I told her was, I said, look, I'm not no therapist or nothing like that, so I can't give you no type of advice like that, because I can't be in charge of nothing like that. I can only give you what's in my heart, what God placed in my heart to say. So I said, for anything, I believe that if something's not making you happy, man, you got to get away from it. Like you got to do what makes you happy. I say, so, don't go back and tell you how, oh yeah, Nick said this. Like, then you got somebody coming at me because they think I told them that you told them different. No, it ain't nothing like that, man. But at the end of the day, you gotta do what makes you happy. And I say, I feel like, whenever anybody, doesn't matter what the age is, but whenever anybody got to come out of that relationship, whether it's boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, or wife, to ask anybody else a question like that, man, you kind of already know which way you want to go. You just looking for confirmation from that other person to, give you that confirmation. And I say, man, we talked after that for a long little while, like maybe like 40-minute conversation. So after that, I just start thinking about my life, and I say, yo, how can people do something like that? You put up with being unhappy for so long. And I'm like, man, Nick, you would go do the same thing. And I really was, man. So some of y'all watch my videos, before this, other videos, y'all know I talk about my baby mother a lot, and stuff like that. And, it's not talking bad about it, but it's just, it's how our relationship went. It's my truth. You feel what I'm saying? So, I put it out there because it's my truth, and whatever I went through, my test is my testimony. And also, it can help other people that are going through similar situations. So that's why I put it out there. I don't put it out there to really talk down on her or throw her under the bus or whatever, but we know what happened with that relationship, me and her. So at the end of the day, right, I was going to marry her. And the reason I gave myself I was going to marry her was because I say, man, I'm doing it for my son. And stuff like that, right? So I was lying to myself saying I was doing it for my son, and in actuality, I was, manipulating the situation, and so was she. I was telling myself a lie to kind of make myself feel like I was happy and all this stuff, right? So, a lot of people do that too, so like it's other lies that you tell yourself. Like I'm telling myself, look, man, no matter what, because I'm so good, because my heart's so pure, I can change her and make her, be a better person. And that was a lie too, because nobody's going to change unless they want to change. And that's just what it is. And then, I'm telling myself little different stuff, other little lies. And then, like in a relationship, I look at the relationship as a whole, and it was a lot of stuff that was said. And, like she said, you'll never be a businessman. They're gonna look at you and see your dreads and your gold and say, man, he just a street dude, he a hustler, he this, he that. And she's like, and I know the truth about you. And, sometimes even if you're the most strongest person, man, whether you're a man or a woman, the strongest person, when you go through these little downfalls in life, all this stuff like all these little seeds planted in you, whether negative or positive, they play back to you, and you make different little decisions. So, like you be in like broken places, low self-esteem, low all that stuff, right? And you make decisions from that place where you are, and it may not be the best decision for you because you're not even looking at the whole picture. You just looking at like the brokenness, right? So you go there, you do certain stuff like that. So the thing is, like I say, when I really looked into like what really changed, it was my son. He was about 10 years old, and I told you, he asked me, he said, if you love her, why y'all always fussing? And I'm like, yo, this is the same person that I said I was in this relationship for, was him. And he more so like that, because kids, for whatever reason, man, kids' heart is so pure. Like they don't have a filter. It's like they can see the real intentions for people, the real inner people. So pay attention to that, man, because sometimes your kids be trying to warn you about some stuff, and you just looking at them like, man, shut up, be quiet, or whatever. But it's like with a child's eye, that innocent eye, they can see the inner person, the inner people, and man, it's like they know some stuff that you may not be willing to see. And then like other people, like wisdom speak, aunts and stuff like that. I look at our whole relationship, and they're like aunts and people. Like, hey man, look, I'm not saying she's a bad person, but she's just not for you. So when you in this particular situation and you love a person, right, you become defensive because you're like, man, I love him. You don't know this person like I know him. This, that. But they're looking at it like from a removed way, from a third person looking in, and they can see some stuff that you might not be willing to see, or you see but you put a blind eye to. And Lord behold, the stuff that they were saying, like it came true, man. And it's like they saying it, and it's like when you in it, like because you become a defensive, your relationship then becomes, I'm gonna prove you wrong. You wrong. I'm gonna show you that I'm gonna make it work. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. And it becomes that, and then that relationship becomes not yours then, because it's everybody else's, because you're trying to prove so much that this person is not who they saying this person is, and all this stuff. And that's not no way to be in a relationship, because it's fair. You can't do nothing based off of fear, man, because then you'll get like subpar results because of that fear, right? So I look at that and I was thinking, and I was like, dang, man, like I was gonna be there. And I looked at TD Jakes, and TD Jakes had this sermon when he talked about like sometimes you in a relationship, you're just there, you're doing all the stuff that look good for birthdays, holidays, you're doing all that stuff, but mentally you're checked out. The only reason you're there is because like you don't want nobody else to get that particular person. You don't want another man to get that woman, or you don't want another woman to get that man. You know what I mean? It's not even the fact that you know that person is good for you. It's just the fact that you built up this attachment thing, and because of the attachment, it kind of masquerades itself as love or whatever. And a lot of people's definition of love is, manipulation. And I say that because, like sometimes like bad company corrupts good character. So if you're around negative people and negative things like that, like you'll get all those little things, and you'll become that way and not even know it, and you'll be stuck in a little thing. You feel what I'm saying? So like my baby mother, her issue, she liked to go to the club. Hey, look, I'm here, look at me. She liked the attention and all that stuff. I didn't like none of that stuff. So she did that. So that was a gateway for cheating, lying, deception, and stuff like that. And because I was with her, like when I would do certain stuff, and that's not my character. Anybody know me know that's not my character. But when I was with her, because energy transfers. Energy doesn't die, it transfers, whether you want to call it energy or spirits or whatever you want to say, right? Because I was with her, and because that was her thing and she was doing that, I ended up doing the same thing because we were so, connected or attached, that I ended up doing the same thing, and that relationship ended up, failing for real. And it was just that we just wasn't compatible, man. We wasn't compatible. We were attached, but we wasn't compatible. And then, like with that, like I say, with manipulation, you tell people, man, ain't nobody gonna love you like me. Ain't nobody gonna do this like me. And then when certain stuff happen, when you break up, and then, you go try to move on, and a similar situation happened in that new relationship that looked like the past situation, you want to go back, and then you be like, I'm going back to familiar because at least I know this person, this, that, but then it's like the same thing. You never fix that brokenness. So until you fix that brokenness in yourself, you're not going to be able to do like nothing like that with nobody, because everybody's going to be that person. And then you'll keep going through your life like breaking up, and then go see somebody. Then that person might do something and make you go back to familiar. Now for me, one of the biggest things was we broke up 9 times. Me and my baby mother broke up 9 times within that time frame, from age 16 to age 35. That's 19 years, right? So we broke up 9 times. And like when I really started thinking about it, I'm like, yo, if we broke up 9 times, what happened throughout those 9 times that made me go back? Because if a person is apologetic, they're not going to keep doing the same thing over and over again that they saying they're sorry for. So I had to take into consideration that this is just her. This is just that person. So if I like it, then I'll stay here or whatever, because you show people how to treat you. If I don't, then I'll move on. And until I get to that point, that breaking point where I'm like, man, I need to just move on, you'll stay in that situation, man, because you think that it's love or loyalty, but in all actuality, it's attachment and it's fear. You feel what I'm saying? So fearful for being alone or for whatever, because society kind of molds us into that way. So like if we're not married, we think that we're not good enough. If we don't have the house and the career and stuff, we think we're not good enough. So you'll put up with all the BS because you want that image of a whole happy family or marriage or whatever, and it's not the case, man. So it was times when I look at certain pictures and I'm smiling like this. Like I'm making myself smile. I'm trying to make myself happy. I'm lying to myself, telling myself that I'm happy, and I wasn't. And at the end of the day, kids, when you say you're doing it for the kids, man, like you're doing them a real big disservice, because kids can feel and see that energy, whether you want to believe it or not. Kids can feel like the tension in the house or all that stuff, and then you showing them different stuff. You showing them how to live in fear, how to grow up and live life fearful, being attached to somebody that's really not the best thing for you, but like they're just there because, because of the timing or whatever the case may be, man. You show your kids that, and then you just creating a whole big toxic circle. You teach them to grow up to be toxic or to stay in toxic relationships that doesn't mean them no good, man. So in church Sunday, man, we one of the ministers talked about the stages of grief. So the stages of grief is denial, anger, bargain, depression, and acceptance. So you'll go through all these stages, man, but acceptance is the last one, because once you accept the grief or whatever, then you can, take the flaws and stuff out and fix them and then get yourself together. And grief doesn't always have to necessarily be because somebody died. It could be like a breakup. Like you've been with this person for 4 years, 5 years. That person was a big part of your life, and you got to grieve, man. You got to give yourself time to grieve, get yourself together, man, because a lot of people, what they do is once they get out one relationship, they jump right back into another relationship. They never healed themselves, man. So that relationship is still a broken relationship, man. So, and you still start going through the same things that you've been going through, right? So in that, man, I say, like, I tell you, I'm not a Bible thumper, but I read the Bible and I apply that stuff to my life. So it's a verse in there that says, I don't remember, I think it may be James, but the verse says, a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. So, I was double-minded, you feel me? Like, real talk, I was double-minded. Sometimes when you're stuck in position, like you on a fence, and you're straddling that fence, man, you double-minded. Should I go this way or should I go that way? And your feet be on both sides of that fence, right? So on one side, you got a legitimate business, a real business, and you move forward with. On this side, you got like maybe some things that may not be the most legal, but it's providing money or whatever, like it's just not always legit. And matter of fact, it's illegal. Put it like that, it's illegal, man. Without me saying too much, because I can't really do that, but it's illegal. So your feet is in both places. And the universal law is, if you uncertain about what you want, you're going to get uncertain results and things like that. So once I made the decision of, like, I'm going to stay on this side with the business side. Now, when you do this stuff, man, like, you got to come with, it come with all the bumps and bruises. Like, man, when I said that, man, I'm not working for nobody else and all that stuff, man, it come with you being like broke, not even knowing how you're gonna pay your phone bill, none of that stuff, man. And you go through all this stuff, man, and it's traumatic. It's traumatic because then you start thinking, man, did I make the right decision? But that's like life too. You might be like, man, look, I broke up with this person for a reason. I broke up with that girl for 9 times, man, and those 9 times, like, I kept going back and forth. Nothing changed. She was already who she was. You know what I mean? And I was already who I was. You feel what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, you know, you go through these things, man, in life, and you double-minded. So what you being double-minded, you getting double results. So it's like, for me, once I made the decision to stay on this side, right? And it come from, you know what I told you, like, when I asked my baby mother to marry me, man, like, I asked her to marry me, another person's head popped in my face. That person, I haven't seen her like 3 years prior before that. So after I saying, I reached out and all that stuff, and God let me know, like, man, that's your wife, that's your soulmate. And sometimes you can mess up, man, because of you being double-minded. And that's where I'm at. That's where I am now. You know, I was double-minded, and me and Shorty not even talking, but you know, like, I still, like, that's still, Shorty got a big piece of my heart, man, because she just so special. And you know, sometimes she second guess herself, and she doubt her greatness. You know what I mean? Like, it's something hidden in her that I see that she doubts. You know what I mean? And I haven't reached out to her, nothing like that. And like, I don't even know if she watched the videos, none of that stuff neither, man. So it ain't no, like, I don't want nobody like, man, you just crying and getting on it. It ain't that, bro. Like, what I'm doing is, the stuff that I'm going through, I feel like God placed it on my heart. And like, God, I talk to God. I spend a lot of time with God. I spend more time praying and meditating than I do, you know, reading the Bible. But at the end of the day, because I got a relationship with God, like, he put certain stuff in my mind and on my heart for me to come in and do certain stuff and tell certain people, right? So, and then some of this stuff, you know, you think about as you being a man, like, man, some of this stuff is like unheard of a man saying, being in touch with his feelings without being like emotional. You feel what I'm saying? Because so many people try to mask that, and then when you mask it, it just makes it worse. So all that to say, man, like, a lot of us live in fear because of what society standards is and stuff of that nature to us. And a lot of us, like, we just fearful. So like, it's like a rope, and you holding on to a rope, and you know that the tighter it is, the more your skin go far and hurt and all, but you're just holding on, trying to hold on to that person. Then ultimately, when you gotta let go, like the circulation in your hand gone, and you roar and stuff like that, man, and you holding on to something that you should have been let go of, man. So for me, I should have been let go of that situation and pursued the other one. You feel what I'm saying? Like, and that's just what it is. And life shows you that, because now, you know, my baby mother's married. Like I said, she's not a bad person. She just wasn't for me. You know, and I spent a lot of time trying to make it. And a lot of us tell ourselves these lies that, yo, we can change the person we with. We can change the person we with. And that's not true, man. They're not going to change until they want to change, man. So, man, all that to say, man, that I hope that listening to her story for 40-something years, man, being unhappy, like that just, it makes you feel like, oh man, like, yo, like, I don't want to be that. And then you think about like your current, you think about your parents and stuff, like, man, my mother not married, my father, so you know you're fearful. So you're making these decisions out of fear, and you showing, like I said, you showing your kids these fear things. But like I said in the last video, man, God don't give us the spirit of fear. He give us the spirit of power, of love, and of a sound mind. And if we trust the process, man, everything is going to happen. Everything that's supposed to happen to us is going to happen to us. The thing is, because we got the power of free choice, sometimes the choices we make is not the right one, and it kind of shifts our destiny, shifts our lives, man, and then we end up being in the place where we really wasn't supposed to be, man. So first of all, we got to believe that we great. All of us are great, so you got to believe in your greatness, man. Like Shorty that I said, man, she don't believe in her greatness, man. She great. Like all of us out here, we got, it's something that we great in, whether we want to believe it or not, man. It's something that we got to pursue. We got to believe this thing, man, and believe it to the fact that we'll risk everything to show that, yo, this is what we got. This is what we got to give the world. This is what God gave us to give the world, man. So believe that you're great, man. Believe in yourself, man, and don't hold on to no lies, man. Don't live no best lie. Live your best life, man, and believe that you can do all things through Christ that strengthens you, man. So at the end of the day, man, Focus on the mission, not the money, man. Be prepared, not scared for everything for life. I know this video was a little long, man, but I really had to break it down because, that's a scary situation, being stuck somewhere for 40 years, man, and not being happy. So hopefully, man, you reevaluate your life, man. You write down some stuff, man. Do what makes you happy, man. Don't worry about living for or making somebody else happy or justifying or just lying stuff or just believing in that lie, thinking you're doing something for something else, man. It's hitting because you're in a broken place or you're in a lonely place and you're making these decisions. So don't do that, man. So 2020, man. 2020, we seeing stuff clear. We seeing what we want. We getting what we want. Be prepared, not scared, man, for everything, man. Be prepared for life, not scared of life, man. Live your best life, man, as long as you can, man. So until next Tuesday, man, y'all be blessed.